And howdy do! Hey, you are back! You're back, man! I missed you. You're back drinking with the Beer Whisperer. And I said earlier I was going to do some pairings, and here's one. This is the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale, aged in oak bourbon barrels, 8.19%. Brewed and bottled by Alltech Lexington Brewing Company, Lexington, Kentucky. Well, I am pairing it with some bourbon. I am pairing it with Town Branch 80 proof bourbon, also brewed by Alltech, Lexington, Kentucky. That's why I paired it together, because they're made by the same folk. The same folk that bring you the beer, bring you the whiskey. Oh, so let's have a drink, huh? Oh, yeah, nice. Oh, wow. This is certainly a beer. They don't recommend a temp to drink it at, but it is certainly a beer that you can drink colder if you like, but it's probably best at about 50, 55 degrees, I would assume. Because I had it at about 45 to start with. I didn't have it in the fridge, but I had it out in my garage, which is a little damn chilly because it's been cold here, man. It's been cold. My, ooh, I had to put my jammies on because my willy was chilly. I had a chilly willy, man. I had a chilly willy. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, yeah, as I let this warm up. Oh wow! I said when I did my video that the oak is very apparent, especially in the finish. As it warms up, that oak becomes more apparent all the way through the beer. I'm still getting some other notes though. I noticed when I did a video just now that I was getting some golden raisin-like notes, and I still feel those. I like to do this though. Some people think I'm crazy. It's not like I don't slam these beers and slam the whiskey, but I usually take a beer like this and I take a. This was about a jigger of whiskey or a shot and a half. A jigger is a shot and a half. It is a precise measurement. But I'll drink the beer and sip this whiskey over a period of about an hour. I just like to enjoy both. I like the way both flavors work together. It's something I like to do. Oh wow! It does these. I think this beer will work with any bourbon, but since I am using the Town Branch, they're both made by Alltech. They do feel like they are compatible. That they do both go together. It certainly feels like it. It's a beautiful whiskey though. I really like it. I don't know the age on it. There is some writing here, but my eyes aren't focusing real well, so I'm not going to read this tiny ass right. But it is kind of a. I don't know if you'd call them a micro or boutique distillery. It's a beautiful whiskey though. It's got no burn whatsoever. Nice oak. Mm. Some nice kind of burnt caramel notes. It's just very nice, and it does work perfect with this beer. It certainly does. It certainly does. Uh, I had a stretch there. Now I'm just too old to go out like that, but I had a stretch there in my early 30s. We're on the weekends. We've got a great blues club in town here called Nathan P. Murphy's. It's legendary, and it's had some of the best blues artists in the world pass through there. And I had a stretch there. I knew the owner, Bob, but I was going there quite a bit. They had one blues artist, and I probably told this story on a video before, but his name was Johnny Rawls, and Johnny Rawls is this great old school blues man. If you ever get a chance to look up his material, he's just awesome. If he's ever in your town, see him because the guy puts on a show. He's old school, man, just old school blues. But anyway, the first time I met Johnny, I got to the club early and was talking to Bob, and Johnny's sitting there at his table, and he's got his beer in his bottle, and he's got a glass of whiskey, and he'd take a drink, and then he'd sip his whiskey. It's probably when I first started doing it too, because I learned it worked, man, it worked. There was a point during the show where they do the sing along part, and he comes around to the audience, and I sang in that. At the break, Johnny came around to me. He says, "Son, you certainly don't have," he said, "you sure enough don't have any," he said, "no," he said, "you don't have any rhythm, son, but you sure enough got soul." I thought that was the greatest compliment anybody could give me. But if you ever get a chance, go see Johnny Rolls. The man's amazing. Mm. Wow. This whiskey is nice. It only ran about $27 a bottle. Not dirt cheap, but not crazy expensive either for a nice bourbon. And this really is. I mean, it is that kind of that middle of the road. I mean, to me, there's other bourbons out there that are a little bit more money. That I think this is every bit as good as. Say Gentleman Jack, and there's several others that run about 35 to 40 a bottle. That I would buy this over every time because it's beautiful, it's smooth, it's got some complexity, there's something to it, it's a little toothy, it's just a nice bourbon, and it pairs perfectly with this beer. Son bitch, man. Son bitch, I really wish I had more. Son bitch, it's good. So I'm Tom Beer Whisperer. I'm going to sit down and finish my stuff before I get hammered, man.